No, Robbie just asked you guys to shout, and now you guys are just shouting numbers. How many electoral votes does the state of Texas, not Texas, New York? 56. Okay. Okay, well, you can tell that I am not going to be your political science teacher because I don't really know how many electoral votes and all of that. But one thing that I do know is that whoever becomes the next president will really set the tone of the history of not just the United States of America, but the history of the entire world. And that's why this year I've been following it really, really closely. And there's just a lot of things that have been stirring in my heart. But I have a sneaking suspicion, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm using some big words here. I have a sneaking suspicion that for many of you, you kind of feel like Abel, where it's just kind of like the poster is just something that's on the wall. And for the teachers and for the adults, we're praying and we're kind of concerned about who's going to become the next president. Already there's the latest news on Barack Obama. He wrote this book and they're asking him, was this other guy, did he help you write this book? Was he a ghostwriter for this book? And he's denying it, and they're speculating that it might be, and if it is, what the implications are if he becomes president. Why are we making such a big deal? Or why are your teachers making such a big deal about this next election? It's because in the next 4 years or 8 years, this whole country is going to feel the effects of whoever the next president is. And one of the things that I find is that with young people, and up until a short while ago, I was the same way. When it came to politics and when it came to other things like that, I just felt like, it doesn't really affect me. I don't really care who gets voted into office because I don't feel that it really affects me because I'm still living my life. For me, since the time I've been alive for 34 years, how many presidents have come and gone, and I'm just I'm still living my life. And I'm still kind of doing what I've always done, just be simple, plain old Andrew, and just going throughout my life, just enjoying my life, enjoying the times that I had. And yet, at the same time, I had a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things that, were just really it just made me feel like I stopped in my tracks and I took 2 steps or 3 steps back. But at the same time, there are things going on around the world that I was kind of oblivious of. Some of those things were something called wars. We had Desert Storm when I was in high school. For some of you weren't even born yet, but there was Desert Storm. One of a pretty short war according to Mr. Enos. A very short war, but now we're in another war. And it's just, things have been happening and happening and happening, and I've just been kind of oblivious. I've just been kind of walking around. We live in a beautiful state called Hawaii, except for weather like today. Usually it's pretty good. And for me, I just took a lot of time just to enjoy the beach. Before I went to Japan, I took up surfing, and I was going to Waimea Bay. I was going to the west side and Pokai Bay or whatever. I was in Waikiki at Duke's, and I was just enjoying myself. And I could care less who was the president. I could care less who the governor was. I really could care less when it came to politics. And I think that's how, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's how many of us feel in this room today. I mean, it's just kind of like, well, yeah, whoever the president is, yeah, that's cool. And if your parents are in the military, then maybe that's going to make, you a little interested because the next president is going to decide who or what or how we're going to deal with this war in Iraq, how we're going to deal with the war in Afghanistan, and for those who come from military families, that's going to affect you. So you're starting to think about it. Who is the next president going to be? But if let's say you're like me and your parents aren't in the military, then you're kind of like, well, it doesn't really affect me. And the things that really do affect us, the things that really do make us stand up and listen and take notice when, I know a couple of weeks ago I talked about when there's drama that happens in our life. And it's like, I don't know what to do. The whole world is falling apart. I just broke up with my boyfriend. I just broke up with my girlfriend. Or this person said they don't like me. Oh man, my friend who's supposed to be my friend just went around my back and just, oh man, just said all these things and now my whole world seems to be falling apart. And yet when we look at the rest of the world and we just kind of, well, that's just homework, my teacher makes me do current events, or I see this poster on the side of the wall. It just seems to be kind of something that's irrelevant for us. And I want to ask you, why? Why does it seem like all these other things that our teachers are trying to get us to really think about so much? Why are our teachers trying to push that and say, hey, you gotta be concerned about these elections. You gotta be concerned with where our country is going. It's because we may not feel it now, but in a year, 2 years, 4 years, we'll start to feel it. And the older you get, for those of you who are in 6th grade, well, you're going to have some long days, but I can tell you, seniors, correct me if I'm wrong. And what quarter are we in right now? Second? First? Okay, see, public school's in second already. Well, that's how fast public school is going. But for you seniors, the first day of school, does it seem like it was just yesterday? Senior? 6th graders, does that seem like it was just yesterday? No. You know why? Because seniors have lived 6 more years longer than the 6th graders, right? And so all of a sudden you have all this experience compressed into the same amount of time, but it just seems to go by quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker. Now for me, it's like a year is like a day to me. And I'm already looking like 5 years, 10 years down the road, because that's how fast time is going for me. I'm what, 18, 19? I'm just kidding. Oh man, dude. I won't even go into my stories about how people thought I was like, okay, I'll just tell you this one. 2 weeks ago, I'm helping Destiny, and she's, I'm trying to teach her how to swim, so my goal is to get her to swim 25 feet, so she's teaching her how to breathe.